I've basically always been in a larger body. And when I say always, I literally mean like since grade school. For most of that time, I felt and been told that my body was something that needed to be fixed. Now I'm learning to let go of the drive to fix something
Mhm.
and focus instead on just living in it and appreciating what it does for me and letting go of the idea that there's something inherently wrong because I'm in a larger body. So it hasn't necessarily been easy. I wouldn't say I figured it all out, but I'm working on it and I think I'm on the right path.
Welcome to the Fuel Her Awesome Show, friend, where we dig into nutrition deets that are actually helpful and we learn to be nicer to ourselves. I mean, think about it. Those things you say about your body, would you ever say them to your friend? I don't think so. I am so glad you are here. I'm Jess, registered dietitian, juggling mama, work, and wife life amidst all the things. I used to spend an insane amount of energy hating on my body and lost in nutrition, but now I have way too much on my plate. I cannot afford to mistreat my body. And because I have a history of struggling with food, I know I have to be careful with how I approach my health goals. This is why I'm so passionate about empowered eating. Sister, in case you haven't heard it today, you are awesome. And I have resources for you beyond this podcast. Check out jessbrownrd.com and take my body confidence workshop totally free. All right, grab a cup of coffee or two and let's fuel your awesome with empowered eating. Friends, today I have an awesome interview for you guys. I have one of my longtime clients and Food Foundations and Next Level Nutrition students who is going to be talking about her empowered eating journey because you know what? Stories are inspiring, and it's that time of year where we are looking to reassess our own health goals and look for ways we can grow, and no better way to do it than to look to those around us who have done something right. And Hannah has definitely done something right. She has completely changed the way she views her body, and it has opened up these doors for her to, well, first live comfortably. And because she stopped fighting with her body and started feeling comfortable in it, she was able to start challenging it and grow in new and exciting ways on her own health journey, which has trickled onto her overall well-being in life. And I'm so excited for you guys to hear her story today. You're going to hear her touch on her experience in Next Level Nutrition, which is our 10-week live group mastermind coaching program. And guess what? Today is the last day we are taking applications. So if this sits with you and you are thinking, okay, it's time, I want you to head on over to jessbrownrd.com/next level nutrition. You can find all the details and submit your application there. All right, let's dive into this interview with Miss Hannah as she unpacks her journey from body hate and body struggle to rewriting the narrative and empowered eating. Hannah, thank you so much for coming on.
Sure.
Now, I have had the pleasure of knowing you through different seasons, and I just feel so blessed by knowing you. And those who don't, let us know a little bit about who you are. And then I'd like to know where you are with your relationship with food and body today.
Okay, awesome. So my name is Hannah, and I'm a project manager. I also work with the youth civic education program. So that's just a little bit about my background. My relationship with my food and my body. Let's see. I think the best way to put it is that it's ever evolving. I've basically always been in a larger body, and when I say always, I literally mean like since grade school.
Mm.
Um, for most of that time, I felt and been told that my body was something that needed to be fixed. And so now I'm learning to let go of the drive to fix something
Mhm.
and focus instead on just living in it and appreciating what it does for me and letting go of the idea that there's something inherently wrong because I'm in a larger body. So it hasn't necessarily been easy. I wouldn't say I figured it all out, but I'm working on it and I think I'm on the right path.
This journey for you has not been easy. So I want to talk a little bit about the journey and how some of the obstacles you came up against. But before we dive into that, before you started this process of letting go of fixing your body, what were some of the things you were trying that were not working?
Kind of a lot of things. Like I went through like years of dieting, trying different things, and that cycle of like starting a diet and then restricting would get too difficult, and so something would go wrong, and that's with like air quotes wrong, and then I'd fall off the plan for some reason, and then just stop trying until something pushed me into like the next round of it. So it was just that was very frustrating. And then on top of that, I just also like I stay very busy and I push myself really hard in like other aspects of my life. So things like grocery shopping and cooking and exercising, they're just like not my thing. Um, and so it's been hard for me to be motivated to do those things when I have like limited free time, and that's just not how I want to spend that time.
It was almost like you felt like you should be making time for these things, but you didn't really love doing it. So then you were looking for some of the more like programmed fixes, like diets to try to like, get going and get motivated, but then it wouldn't stick because you didn't like it anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or like I would feel like I like fell off, like
Mm,
I didn't do something right. And so then it was like, well, I messed up. So, that kind of mentality of like it's all or nothing, I think has been an issue for me personally because and I think I just needed to get past that.
yeah. And that all or nothing stuff is hard. Now, you've done a great job though in moving away from it. So I want to shift over and talk a little bit about how you did that. Now, you've taken both Food Foundations and you just did this first round of Next Level Nutrition, which was so fun. But I wanted to ask you, what did you find? What was your biggest takeaway from each of those programs? And where did you find yourself after going through them?
I think like to kind of backtrack a little bit because I think I like before I even was like ready to do those programs, it was like a different meeting with you a few years ago when I was still trying to lose weight that like really kind of shifted things for me. And I
Mhm.
think that's what sort of set me on the right track. So I remember it was like 3 years ago ish, give or take. And like you asked me during an appointment why I was trying to lose weight at that time.
Mm,
And I
mhm.
think like literally didn't even have an answer because I was like, well, isn't that what I'm supposed to do? And then isn't that what you're supposed to tell me to do? Like, what's happening here? And it was so like, I mean, I normally am used to health providers being like, oh, you have to lose weight and all that. So, but you obviously didn't say that and you challenged it instead. And then you like demonstrated examples to me of why like like my lab work was actually really good and like there was no evidence of anything actually being wrong. And so I think you kind of like triggered me to like start questioning that myself. And so that had to happen, I think, first. And I had to sit with that for a while because I like wasn't necessarily ready to just like change right away. So I think I
Mhm.
had to like work on that. And I started doing like more investigating of like the health at every size um and that like you had pointed me to that article, the everything you know about obesity is wrong one,
Mm,
I just
mhm.
love. Um and then so I like started to change like what I was following on social media and then starting listening to the podcast. So all that like helped to get me into the right mindset for the two courses that you mentioned. um and with those like they were awesome, they're both awesome. I like um you just have so much great information in there about how to feel your body and how to listen to your body. I think that like the listening, the biofeedback piece has been really helpful for me. um because you don't just say like pay attention to what your body's telling you, you actually tell us like how to pay attention, like what to look for, and what different things might mean, and that has been super helpful. So and then with the Next Level Nutrition, I like the small group was awesome too because then learn from each other's experiences and hear like what you're telling other people too, which is helpful for us. And so I think it was such a great fit for me to take those.
Yeah, you went through the whole process, right? Like we had some like initial coaching where you started like kind of gearing up. And I think I'm so glad you backed up and said that because I do think, Food Foundations is like this new way of looking at food and your body. And you have to be in the right mind space to be open to shifting to that. And I love what you did because you not only like worked on shifting your own space, you shifted your environment because you're like, I realize that if I'm going to make this change, like I've got to set myself up for it and I've got to stop some of the messages that are coming in because gosh, there's so many messages about nutrition, right? And what we should and shouldn't be. Kind of started thinking of like, why do I want to lose weight? What do I want to do with my body? I think that's so cool to hear that it got you there. And then moving through these steps, it was really cool to see you go through them in that order. Like a lot of people want to jump to, getting the nutrition piece first. but
Mhm.
you really moved through it in the way that I hope people would, which is like lay the values, right? Learn about the biofeedback and then jump into gentle nutrition and starting to add some intentionality. Can you talk a little bit about pulling your values in to how you define health and how that changed things for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean that was the very first module in both of your classes, right? Because like you put it first as far as like understanding why you're even doing this, right? And so for me, like for my values, I it was helpful for me to identify like what things that are so important to me that I want to focus on, and then tying that back to why the nutrition goals help with that. I mentioned like I don't love doing the things that you think of as like being important for nutrition, like shopping, going grocery shopping or exercising and you can learn to love some of that, but if it's just not that great for you, you have to find another motivation for wanting to stick like with a nutrition plan. And so for me, it really helped to do that because then I could tie it back to my values instead of feeling like, well, I just want to, like, I'm just not the kind of person who will like go for a run because I want to clear my mind. Like, that
Yeah.
literally sounds like the worst possible thing to me. So, so it's just not my path. But I think that the tying it to values helped me to like understand why it was important for me to make time for that.
Yeah, and finding space for it in your free time because you are super busy. You juggle a lot of balls, and so to be in a space where you actually want to spend some of your free time doing this, we had to pull in those values, and it had to be motivated by something that was important to you.
Yeah.
Now, we just did the next level nutrition. We wrapped it up not that long ago. It was so fun. I loved it because I got to be with you guys every single week. And tell me a little bit about what it was like for you to meet every week and with this group of women and talk through some of this vulnerable stuff because it's not easy. Like the stuff we're talking about is not it's not an easy topic.
Yeah. No, it was really great though, because I felt like it was a group of people who like were going through similar things. Like it's not all the same. Obviously, like everybody has different struggles with, their health and nutrition. And so, but kind of seeing that like there's all these different perspectives and there's also a lot of other ideas out there of how to respond to challenges and things like that, that it was really helpful. And so I loved it. And I made friends with one of the people in the group who's just like encouraging and lovely, and just I have enjoyed spending time with her so much. And we've like gone hiking together, and she's challenged me on some of the like negative self-talk and like trying to help me turn that around. And so I think that having that group of people as a resource in addition to you was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was the whole communal aspect that was super cool. Now, it is a big jump though to invest in one of these from a financial standpoint, from a time standpoint. It's also can feel vulnerable because now you're opening up, sharing some of your struggles with people you don't know, strangers. So, looking back, were you afraid to make that jump? Were you nervous to transition in?
No, not at all. And mostly because it was you. Like
Oh, thank you.
but like you said, like I've known you for years, and
Mhm.
like it's like there have been other times that I've signed up for something that took money, right? Like I've done different diets that I had to pay for in the past, and that was always a gamble. But this time, like it wasn't, because I knew you, and I knew that like it would be a safe environment and there wouldn't be pressure. In fact, it's like the polar opposite, because you encourage people not to even get on the scale, which I think is so amazing. And so I think I just knew it would be a really safe and supportive space. Um and I think it was just, I felt like it was a good time for me to join and work on that. So
Well, thank you. I don't take that trust lightly. I really, really appreciate it. But, for someone that may not have this, like, because you and I have a history, we've worked together in the past. So I think it probably felt a little bit safer. But for someone who's maybe on the fence about this, what would you say to them? Because it is one thing if you like trust the person, but if you're kind of like, I think I do, but I don't know, like, what would you say to someone who's on that line about trying to decide if they should join or not join?
I mean, I would definitely say that like because of my experience taking, multiple different classes from you and listening to your podcast and like at your ebook and all of that, like all of that content is built to help realize their values tie into their health and to help people, like support people, but it's not in any way be a burden or anything. So it's just a positive, awesome experience no matter what. And so I think on any of those resources you have out there, like they're all a safe space. And I think it's also really helpful. And I think that you help people problem solve really well. Like in the class we had like the goal setting piece too, right? And like you worked with us on all of those and we, helped each other with those. And that made it really achievable to try and work on what we wanted to work on during the class because we had realistic goals. And so I think that that's a really important component of it too. And it's individualized. It's not like one blanket fits all, here's your Weight Watchers formula and this is what you have to
Right.
do. And it was individualized. And so I think that that is very helpful.
Well, that was so cool to see like everybody go through some of those goal settings individually. Cause what was fun is everybody had different goals, right? Like
Right.
some people did have weight loss as a goal. Some people had like food freedom as a goal. Like everybody's was different, but it was so cool to go through everyone's goal because y'all picked up stuff from each other of like, oh, hey,
Yeah.
that might work for me. Oh, hey, that's actually something I've been struggling with too. And there's that camaraderie. And what I love about the group setting is that it eliminates shame. And we know shame is one of the biggest obstacles in trying to make changes because it makes us feel like something's wrong with me. I'm the problem. Whereas when we get in a group setting and we talk about our struggles and we overcome them together, it removes that piece. And suddenly, if shame's not there, now it's not a pass or fail. It's like hey, what can I learn and how can I grow?
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. Yeah.
It was so cool. I loved watching it and getting to be a part of it. Now, looking back, do you think it was worth it?
Oh, absolutely. It was incredible. I really feel like I got a lot out of it and I've been feeling really really good since the class too, like cuz all of the things that I've incorporated into my life based on like what we learned in the class. My energy has really been really great and I've just been feeling so much better and more positive and so I totally think it's worth it.
So awesome. I love to hear that because one of your values in particular, I think is so cool. Like you have this land that you go and you work hard on. So tell us just a little bit about what you're doing with this extra energy.
So my family has a ranch and we have a grant right now to thin some of the forested areas on our land because New Mexico is a tinderbox, unfortunately. And
Oh,
so
I know.
we are thinning trees on the ranch. So I spend a lot of time on my weekends, like helping to thin and chip the trees that we're cutting down in order to reduce the fire danger on our property and for surrounding areas. So that's something that like I really need like to have the energy for because it's a
Yeah.
long work day. Or like a couple of weeks ago, we were branding cattle. It's a long work day. So that's been really helpful because the biggest part of that is how I fuel my body for those days.
Mhm. Yeah, that is no easy task at all.
You know?
But I loved it because that was when we had our very first meeting. That was one of the things you brought up was I want energy to be able to do that. And it's so cool to hear that you're feeling that out there on the ranch. Now, is there any other tactical wins you took away from Next Level Nutrition that you're feeling in your day-to-day life now?
Well, one thing that always is helpful for me is that accountability. So having that regular weekly meeting where I knew that we would be talking about the things that we learned and applied helped me to incorporate them. And then since then, it became easier because I found ways to fit them into my schedule. So you
Mm,
helped us to like find ways to build them in and to make it again realistic. So we weren't trying to tackle like all the things at one time. You're focusing on the things that you feel like are going to have the biggest impact for you and it's a personal choice. It's not a one size fits all. So I think just being able to figure out how I build those in and then I've been able to stay on track with that because it was just like it was very deliberate and intentional.
well, it's sustainable. And that's the hardest part with nutrition and diet, like food and exercise stuff. It's the sustainability piece is where I think we really, really have to like battle and show up. But that's so cool to hear you've been able to do it and sustain those goals we set. And and you're feeling it in your hobbies and your work life. It's just super cool to hear. Well, Hannah, thank you so much for coming on and sharing just a piece of your journey. I'm so excited. You actually signed up to do it again here in January. So we're going to do it when we kick off here in a few weeks. And I'm so excited to have you in there.
Me too. I'm so excited.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope it strengthened your food journey and empowered you to live boldly in your body. Real quick, sister, before you go, if you liked today's episode, the best way you can thank me is head on over to iTunes, Fuel Her Awesome Podcast, leave a review and subscribe. Then take a screenshot and share it on your social media. Don't forget to tag me at Jess Brown RD. And if you're looking for more resources, be sure to check out my website, jessbrownrd.com. I've got info on my e-course, Fuel Her Awesome Food Foundations, my 10-step ebook on how to beat body bullying, and so much more. I cannot wait to chat with you babes again. Until next time, cheers and happy eating.